Hey everyone, I have a very exciting show for you today. I have lots of people reach out to me asking for advice and questions. I always go back with the same thing. Are you willing to be interviewed on Zoom? And lots of people say no. But today we can welcome Derek and Jen to the show, who said, yeah, I'll do that. I'll be uncomfortable, but let's give it a shot. So let's welcome Derek and Jen to the show. How you guys doing?
Well, doing well, Mike. Thank you.
Awesome. So real quick, why don't you introduce the audience to where Derek and Jen live, what kind of goals are, and why you had the courage to reach out to some guy you've never met.
So again, my name's Derek, my wife Jen. Live in the Seattle area, and since then, I've completed my time on active duty, got out, looking around, left, right, look at the commercial world, look at what's ahead of what you want out of life, what direction you want to go. And Michael Zuber here wrote an awesome book here, One Rental at a Time. That's we got the benefit of reading through his story, and really thinking about a lot of the challenges and really the reasons why you venture in this direction, and thinking about what do we want out of our future, in a sense. The 8 to 5 thing is great, but you do that 8 to 5 and you do that every day.
Yeah,
it gets a little old.
Yeah.
So for us, we kind of had established kind of our why we would want to be able to pursue this. And it's to get out of the what's called the rat race. It's to live the life you want. And I think for a large part of that, I should say, it's time. It's not, it's money's part of it, sure, but you get to a threshold where you're comfortable, the inflow equals is what you need for on the outflow side, and you're like, you don't get younger.
Yeah.
And you look around and you're like, I want to be spending my time with my kids, my spouse, my family, or I want to travel more. And those things came into for us. And even for me specifically, even I wanted to I've been wanting to build a business. I've had business building opportunities. I've ventured that direction in some way, shape, or form. So there was that drive for me to do that. And I also looked at it from kind of a wealth inheritance perspective and bringing the kids on board. I'd like to show our children that, hey, you don't have to work 8 to 5. Look at that, you could manage a business. What's that like? Well, here's one way to get started. Let dad help you or mom help you, kind of a thing. Look at that. So I don't know. That's kind of our why of why we're looking at going this direction. Mike's presented a great opportunity on the phone call and things. We especially appreciated the I forgot what they're called, Mike. Now, forgive me. Opportunity rentals of pride or something like that.
Pride of ownership rentals.
Pride of ownership. Yeah, those. So I remember we're reading at those. Hey, that sounds great too. So, but then a lot of other concerns came up. The management, the challenges associated with it. How do you get from A to Z with skipping some of those letters in between, so to speak?
Yeah. So this is really good. So again, I don't know if it's obvious, but it should be. Lots of people are in your position, Derek and Jen. A lot of people I like to say have the excitement or the buzz of real estate investing. And it really varies, right? Typically when I talk to younger folks, and I'll say younger than 30, right? Which all three of us are not in that age group, I'm guessing. Just a wild ass guess.
Very safe.
Yeah, it's a safe bet. But they often get attracted to the social media hype of the dollars and cents and the toys and all that nonsense, which actually can be really destructive because at least for what I talk about, live below your means, don't increase your monthly nut, understand what you need, right? That balancing act of outgo and ingo, like you talked about, Derek. Those are all very important things. And again, this is a journey, right? The book that you referenced took us 15 years. I think most people can get there in 10. So yeah, I think I want you to know that you're far more common. I don't know if you sense this, but you're not abnormal. Lots of people are in your boat. That's why I love having these conversations, because you never know when somebody watches and goes, I'm like Derek and Jen. So that's why I do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? I know you sent me a list of questions. I do not have them in front of me because I like to just roll as you want to take it down. So I'll answer any questions you want in any order.
It's interesting because I think your proposal encompasses the question. It's how do you want to start? Well, how do I want to start is the question. How do I want to start?
Okay.
You know, I guess the challenge I'm noticing here is understanding our current market around us in a sense of the challenging scenario. And again, COVID-19, kind of in its throes right now.
Yep.
It's a seller's market out here.
No question.
And,
Seattle's rough.
I get, when I'm trying to run numbers and I'm trying to say, well, I might be able to pull $2,000 a month on a rent, but I'm looking at the asking price on the home is $600,000. I'm like, there's no way to get from I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that unless there is 0% interest loan, and those don't exist yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, okay, how do you start then? And then to the point.
Well, hold on. Let's start there, right? So step one.
Yeah.
So I think there's two things that I would tell people. The first thing I tell new investors of all ages, I believe, is you need to learn the skill of learning your market. So what do I mean by that? I don't know any other analogy that works, and it's just because I lived through it. The first time I picked up a golf club, I was 20 years old, right? I was too poor to play it when I was younger, and it became a tool of my trade when I had a job. So the first time you pick up a golf club, it feels odd, right? I don't know if either of you have ever tried, but swinging it is not like swinging a baseball bat. It's just so uncomfortable, and you hit the ground, and then you miss the ball, and it's just unnatural. But if you spend the time and you go to the driving range and you hit hundreds of balls every day for 30 days, even without coaching, you're going to be better. The chances of you missing the ball go down dramatically, for example. You still may slice and fade and all those things, but you will make better contact with the ball. So that's what I really think you should do first. And learning Seattle is fine if you're in a position. You need to understand what a sort of average, good, and great deals are in Seattle. And in the beginning, it should just be about running the numbers. Absolutely. It's not about getting to a point and writing an offer on a $600,000 house. That's not it at all. It's, I'm going to look at my market down to a zip code and an asset type every day for 75 days or 90 days. And with Derek, if you're taking that heavy lifting, what you should be doing once a week is going to Jen and go, Jen, I need 20 minutes of your time. I'm going to tell you the best 5 and the worst 5 that we saw this week. And it will feel unnatural and you won't understand it. And it'll just be, I'm guessing, Jen, I don't know. But by the time you get to the 4th or 5th week of doing that, you will start to see what Seattle offers. And what you're doing there is you're hitting golf balls over and over and over. And if you can get to a point of learning your market, Seattle, which again, I'm not saying you invest there, but because it's close, because you can drive by, because you can walk through, because you can do all of these things, you're going to learn the skill of learning a market. So that will probably take you 90 days minimum. It might take you 120 days, but in essence, in a very short 3 to 4 month period, you will have picked up a brand new skill. And that skill is how to learn a market. And then you could take that skill anywhere, right? Once you start making contact with the golf ball, you can take it to any golf course in the world. So once you've learned that skill, let's say after 120 days, then you can go, great. I now can tell Jen confidently what the best deal and the worst deal is of the week. And I can tell her why. Now I'm going to go find a market that makes more sense.
So
secondary. Yep.
That looking is primarily online, or that's actually going out and like drive-bys and that kind of thing?
I would tell you the 20 minutes a day that I asked Derek to do, and if you like to do, Jen, that is online. When I was doing this in my market, I was all over the world. So definitely online. But I do think, you should probably spend a few hours walking through units, because one of the things that I teach in the course is you need to understand what A, B, and C quality is. And again, it's not, I'm not trying to split hairs. A is simply turnkey, meaning no make ready to go, tenant can move in. And C is, wow, I can't believe this thing is still standing. And B is somewhere in the middle, right? Why is that important? Well, if you, in the book, you'll remember that I talked about making a mistake in the beginning, because I would buy junk and then I would spend all my cash fixing it, right? That turns out, when you run the numbers, to not always be the best investment. And I learned that after the fact. But that's some of the stuff you will learn.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think that's the start, learning the skill and then applying the skill to a market. And lots of people go up backwards. They go, I got to find my market first. Well, most people like us, right? You're in Seattle. I'm in the Silicon Valley. I can't pick I could say Cleveland. I'm just picking on Cleveland because it popped in my head first, but I don't know Cleveland. I've never been there. Or if I've been there, it was a night for a sales event. I don't know the streets. How do I know that, 123 Main Street is worse or better than 456 First Street? I have no clue. So step one is learning the skill, because it all comes down to buying. You only should be buying good or great deals. And unless you can tell Jen or Jen can tell you, Derek, this is a good deal because these other 17 are worse, you're gambling, and I don't want you to gamble.
Right. So some of the other questions I had there is, in this assessment process, and even in your breakout of A, B, and C, I can immediately draw the conclusion that most homes are going to be B, because I would say not that many are turnkey, by the way, and those that are on the market that really shouldn't be don't remain on the market that much longer, or something else happens there. So so a lot of them would fall in B. A lot of the challenges that I encounter is the maintenance, is walking in and go, how much money is it going to take to get from where it is to rentable? I don't replace cabinets. I don't redo kitchens. I don't do flooring, or roofing, or HVAC, hot water heaters, whatever. It'd be nice. We all want that push button. We want to say, oh, it's going to be exactly, $20,000 or $15,000 or whatever. And I'm not trying to overly complicate that question, but the other problem or challenge I'm encountering is that I know people around here who will pay, I shouldn't say pay, will get quoted to do their flooring in their house to be a $60,000 thing. And I'm like, there's no way that home's going to be rentable if the flooring's going to cost that much to get done. So I'm like, buy a new home. It's like, just tear it down and rebuild. It's cheaper. No, but the challenge is assessing a maintenance value, and then actually having the crew, the people, the competent workforce that's actually going to do that job, and not leave you with a higher cost at the end. Actually do it right, doing it right. And I'm just, so I look online, I look at those homes, and I'm like,
So again, remember, this is a crawl, walk, run strategy. So in the beginning, you should just be doing A, B, C. And you could swag it, right? A B in Seattle might be 40 grand, where a B in Cleveland might be 8 grand. But in the beginning, you just need to, you need to be able to recognize it in the beginning. Is it perfect? Is it a dump, or is it somewhere in the middle? And then maybe after day 30, once you start getting better at this, then you're going to start your network. Then you're going to start to meet people. Then you're going to start to go to real estate meetups. Then you're going to start to ask for referrals. One thing you might want to do is look at the 75-day hard challenge, that playlist I have. And I think it's number 3, where you try to meet one new person a day. And by meet, I mean, it could be email or a phone call. But you should try to grow your network. And again, that's a skill you're going to need as you pick another market. And again, the key is to ask for referrals. Always.
She's looking at me, that's all.
He loves that kind of thing, so
it's
good.
That's you, honey.
Yeah, she was like, build your network. She's like,
yeah, he enjoys it, so.
Yeah, good for you, because not many people enjoy it. That's a unique skill you have, Derek, so congratulations. Yeah, but it's okay. Don't overcomplicate it in the beginning. Have you swung a golf club, Derek? I don't want to assume.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just remember the first time you picked it up. That's where you're at in this scenario. Don't start thinking about.
I was happy Gilmoreing everywhere on the golf club. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. So don't be in a rush to get to third base, or you're still on the driving range. So yes, you will eventually have to get to a point where you start refining your numbers, but that's like day 50 or day 60. If you call something a B and everything's a B, that's okay in the beginning, because that will be enough for you to say, hey, Jen, on Sunday, look at this street on 123 Main Street. I think it's the best one. Maybe we should go drive by it just to see, right? That's how you're going to learn it. And that's why learning your market that's local is probably best, so you can do those drive-bys and you do those extra things. Even though you have zero interest in investing in Seattle, totally okay. As long as you can go see it, you can meet the agents, you can talk to people, you can talk to other investors. It's a great idea.
Okay. So, and I've classified that as more like learning mode.
Yeah,
you know, because I oscillate from being overly eager, you know, to where I'm looking at, ooh, this manufactured home, it's only this much, and I can maybe do that one, you know, right?
Yeah. Don't be in a rush to do a deal. Don't.
Right. So because I'll just be in a rush to make a bad decision is how I'm thinking of that. But
an uninformed decision, they always could work out. I mean, you could get lucky.
Right.
Yeah. It's uninformed.
Yeah, but I'd be really rolling the dice. Is kind
yes,
of the thing.
That's a very way. Yes, you would. But it could work out. I wouldn't recommend it, but maybe.
Right. So oscillating from, you know, a lack of patience to the other side is, you know, burnout, tired of it, forget it, this stuff, you know, and you throw up your hands a little bit. So it's
yeah. So this is again what I recommend. You need to task yourself, and Jen needs to hold you accountable, whatever your goals are. And if you guys are sharing responsibilities, hold each other responsible. But you need to set a 90-day plan to learn Seattle. You know, you need to create the spreadsheets and the lists and everything I talk about in the course, but it's because you need to learn together. It needs to be something you do, and you should talk about it once a week minimum. And I promise you, by week 4 or week 5, it'll start to feel different. You can go on my channel and look at other interviews with investors in the student section, and they all talk about how it kind of unlocked for them, like at day 30 to 45, depending on who they were. It'll happen for you. It takes repetition, consistency, and also that'll eliminate burnout, because what I'm telling you is in the next 90 days, you are doing something to change your future, and you should feel good about it every week during the check-in period. So the burnout should go away. Where you feel burnout is when you're going 17 different directions an inch at a time. You can't get anywhere. So stop the madness, declutter the environment. Say, you know what? We're going to pick Seattle. I don't know the zip codes. I'm going to pick Seattle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to pick 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes between 12 and 1,500 square feet. And I'm going to look every day, Jen, and hold me accountable. This is what was new. This was out. This was up there. This is this. This is that. This is this. And let's go.
I'm not looking to cheat that process, but I got a question.
Yeah, of course.
So if you set up a search on the MLS, or you have a couple brokers that feed you properties when they hit the market, quote unquote.
Yep.
Does that take the place of, quote unquote, actively looking every day? I mean, if I look every time I get the email that says, hey, price reduction, hey, new house on the market, and I pop it open and I'm looking through it.
I want you to be updating the spreadsheet. Okay. It doesn't count if you're out at lunch and going, hey, Jen, we got a new listing from Mike Zuber, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't matter. You take it out, you put it in the spreadsheet, you put in the details, you write down the information, and then you rank it. Is this one better or worse than the other 17 that are already on my list? And if it's the best one, write why. If it's the worst one, write why. And then, oh, by the way, 4 days later, it's gone. Oh, shoot. Now it's August 4th. It's no longer available. You don't know why. Did it get pulled? Did it go pending? I mean, right. It's an evolution of learning.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, to your point, it should only take you, once you get the search criteria down, I looked at one zip code for about 18 months, and I would just hit the same search every time. And again, Fresno's a huge market, just like Seattle. But I was looking at one microscopic zip code, one asset type, and I think I was looking like 1,100 to 1,500 square feet. If it wasn't in that really small bubble, I didn't even bother. Now I look at everything, but you got to realize I got 20 years. Right?
Sure.
Like, I'm sure I missed a lot of great deals, but I was only looking at this little window.
Yeah. So yeah, the zip code in Fresno, understood from your story. I'm curious, did you ever look at, because this is what I'm anticipating, Seattle market, for example, right? You know, it's, I don't know, overly priced homes, I'll just say.
Unaffordable. Yep.
So, but it may be affordable for some other type of investor, for someone else who's more, you know, who has more money to park and something perhaps, and the numbers work out for them. I don't know. I'm curious to know, has that been your experience at all?
I don't care. if somebody has, I mean, I live in Mountain View, California, and I'm sure there are lots of buy and hold investors here that are comfortable putting down $750,000 on a 1950 build house. I'm not. I'll never do that. There's lots of people that bet on appreciation because they have a high income job, but they actually are creating alligators. That's what most of them are doing. And they look like geniuses. When Seattle's going like this on appreciation, somebody who has the W-2 job that could afford $1,000 negative look like geniuses. But as I wrote in the book, there was a guy I knew that was a senior executive who had the galls to tell me I could have 4 alligators in my portfolio because I make so much money. I'm like, what are you doing, you idiot? But he looked like a genius for like 2 years, and then he didn't. Then the market rolled over. He ends up selling them at a loss, and he has to, ding his 800 credit score and go all the way down to 5 something. Well, if you bet on appreciation, you get what you get. I'm never going to do that.
Right. Age of home. Is there a cutoff that you use? I'm thinking 50 years. I don't know.
Again, I don't know your market. Some markets are close to the water and they really just fall apart. I've bought homes as old as 1919. Now they've been completely rewired, and I mean, they've been, taken care of, but they still have, I mean, you could still look at the plaster. I mean, homes were just built differently, 100 years ago. I mean, I remember when I got that home, it was 100 years old. But that's not normal. I would say, and certainly wouldn't do that if I was a new investor. Again, I don't know Seattle, but yeah, I don't know that I'd go 50 years. Yeah, probably less than 50 years old in the beginning. Yeah, again, okay. I don't know Seattle, so it's hard.
No, I understand. In terms of, I know you had different experiences coming through the, I don't know what to call it that, not a housing crisis, but the 2008 era, right?
Yeah, the crash.
So bank loans. I have a primary residence, so they're gonna look at me and go, "We're not giving you the same deal." It ain't gonna be no 2 to 3% interest rate. I've shopped around a little bit, and I'm using about, say, 6% on average to see what that would you agree with that 6%?
Well, again, I don't know your credit. I don't know your down payment. I don't know any of that. But I would tell you that I have many, many, many investors get their first through fourth rental, 30-year money with a 3 on it. Nobody's going to get a 2 that's only primary residence. But if you're going to put 20% down or more, I've known many people to get like 3.5 today. I can't. Everything I buy has to have a 6 on it because I don't get those government-backed loans. But yeah, again, assuming your credit is where I think it is and you have the 20% down, you can get something sub 4 today. It's just amazing.
Okay. You said government backed, like VHA, like VA or what?
Well, that VA is only primary residence. It's think conventional financing. Right. Now, I got to be careful there because I just remembered you're in Seattle. I don't know what the jumbo loan limit is. If it's a jumbo investment loan, then yeah, it'll be a 6 because those are scarce. But if you're below jumbo loan limits, plenty of people are getting them with a 3.
I think jumbo's 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So look that up and make sure. But yeah, I mean, I would probably budget today, assuming below jumbo. I think you're safe at 4%.
Right. Okay. All right. So again, 90 days, strictly ABC. I know some of the questions I'm asking are probably getting more into the number assessment.
This is for you. Go for it. I don't mind.
Trying to network, I learn more.
Yeah, of course.
Which is great. And in so doing, finding that, I mean, ideally, right? I'd like to have that maintenance crew in my back pocket. Left side's fine. Where I pull them out and say, "Hey, man, plumber, electrician, I need you out there. I need a roofer, siding, paint, whatever. Hey, I'll do the paint." But some of this other stuff, I'm not licensed or qualified. Don't trust myself anyway, and I'm just going to cost myself more money. So why don't you just do it for me? Thanks. Again, and finding that crew of people, that would be like a big win.
I think you're again overcomplicating it. You're months away from needing that. Okay. That's energy, time, and frustration you just don't need. When you get there, the best way to do it is go visit them, surprise them on the job site.
Okay.
Right in the beginning. Actually, step 1 for me is asking other investors for who do they use and samples of their work. Yeah. But you're months away from needing that. You're trying to solve calculus and you're still at math, I don't know, addition
how I
and
roll,
subtraction.
right?
That's him.
Yeah. So again, give yourself permission to wait that out. In frankness, you won't have a team that you trust until you've done 4 or 5 jobs. Lots of people look good on paper. Lots of people know how to sing a song. But you won't know until you test them and you watch them. I mean,
Right.
It's just reality. People are people. People lie. People mislead. It happens.
Right. So then coming back, I'm going to dial back a little bit here. You were getting started once upon a time. You, in your book, you talk about how you're like, hey, I had a job too. I had to do this thing called fly and like talk to my employer. And so what I'm driving at is that balance. Granted, looking online, it doesn't sound too arduous to look online to make an assessment, to evaluate a few properties, day to day kind of a thing, and make that level assessment. The time investment there is, I would say, relatively minimal. Going forward from there, you can't get a couple rentals under the belt, if you will, and say, "Oh, sorry, employer, I'm out. I got my 2 rentals. I'm ready to retire."
Yeehaw!
It doesn't work that way.
Not for most people.
I mean, when you get to maybe 10 to 20, then maybe that there's enough cash flow there. But how I see that as a big struggle, getting from 1, 2 maybe, and then having the concern, the worry, the anxiety with having not enough to really make a huge difference but makes a difference that you're going to keep it going. At the same time, you're not trying to upset anybody else too. So words of encouragement. Wisdom.
Yeah, what I would tell you is a couple of things. First and foremost, I think I put it in the book, I've said it many times, the cash flow from your rental portfolio that grows from one at a time isn't going to be meaningful for 7 or 8 years. It just won't. You won't have enough mortgage pay down. You won't have enough rent increase. It just takes time. And you need to be ready for that. But something I would do right away is, once you got your first rental, I would take a very small family bill, call it your cell phone, maybe. I don't know. I'm just picking something, and say, hey, 123 Main Street's going to pay our phone bill. And then, 456 Lemon Street will pay the water and gas. I don't know what it is. But if you can relate the positive cash flow just to those small little personal bills, it will start to, that way every time you write the phone bill, oh, Main Street paid for that. Or maybe Jen asked you, did Main Street pay for this? No, Main Street had a broken window and we had to repair. Main Street didn't pay today. Next month, did it pay? Yep, paid today. It's the way to make that little connection. But again, you don't jump from 0 to financial freedom. My book took 15 years. My wife left after about year 11, and I left after year 14-ish. It takes time, man. I wish in the beginning, and again, what maybe wasn't clear in the book is we had property managers since day one. I was literally in 3 different countries most weeks. I had no time to take a tenant phone call. In fact, I don't want my tenants to know who I am. So I was paying 10% management in the beginning. I don't pay that now, but that's what I paid. And it's because time was important. All I could do was find deals and secure capital. I didn't want to chase tenants. I didn't want to vet tenants. I didn't want to paint. I didn't want to repair a broken window. None of that stuff. I just found deals, which meant look every day, because that's all I could do. I would spend in the beginning 20 to 25 minutes a day looking at my market. And we only bought 2 houses that first year. So, it's just, you got to be okay with it. Just keep learning. Even if you don't have the money, keep learning.
Okay. Cool. Jimmy?
I'm
just going to.
He's scanning through his list.
I had a long list,
No problem. I don't mind.
Overly thorough.
That's good.
Yeah, when I think when we're reading your book, kind of for me, excitement level even peaked. I'm looking at it right now. So.
Oh, nice.
Excitement level peaked when I'm looking at that and going, your ownerships of pride, and I'm like, look, I don't have to go find my first one. Look at this, Mike's going to help us out. But then realizing too, oh wait, it's in Fresno, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
It's not next door.
Nope.
So I'm like, wow, couldn't really just go there and take a quick peek. Doesn't work that way either. So how does that work, I guess, in terms of for your ownerships of Pride?
Yeah.
I'm gonna imagine not many people live in Fresno that own the ownership of Pride.
All of my, so I've done, I think 51 as of today, 51 Pride of Ownership rentals, right? Slumlord to Pride of Ownership. None of them live in Fresno. And I would bet half don't even live in California.
Yeah.
Right. So the book has really helped. Right. But basically what happens, I'm always an open book. If you follow me on YouTube, I do walkthroughs of the project from day one to day finish. I always rent them out or lease them out in my ownership, so you can calculate your numbers. Then we open up escrow and we go through a full appraisal, inspections, whatever you want. You get my property manager, right? It's already has property management. You know, it is as turnkey as it can be. And during the project, you see what gets done. Most of them, inside, all new kitchens, new baths, new floors, new paint. Many of them get new windows, not all of them, because some of them were already changed. Most of them get new roofs. It just all depends on the projects. But in the end, you know the price, you know the lease, you can calculate your return, and property management's already in place. And you've seen it most likely evolve over time. So it's fun. It's a fun thing to do.
And if it's your 51 properties, this is not all in the same neighborhood. They're sprinkled throughout Fresno.
Oh, they're all, yeah, I would say, yeah, they're all throughout Fresno. They're all at different price points. I think the cheapest one I've sold is $150. And the most expensive, I sold a 6-unit apartment building for $550, I think.
Oh,
6 units though, huh?
Yeah, 6 units.
Yeah. Different markets.
Different markets, yes. But also, I mean, let's just put it in context, right? So 6 units in Fresno, I think it was collecting $4,800 a month. In Seattle, you know, that's maybe a duplex, right? I mean, it's
yeah,
maybe
$4,800 a month. Yeah, $4,800 a month at $500,000 for the sale. That's still great cash.
Yeah, it should be.
I don't know California taxes, property taxes.
1.2, 1.23, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
awesome.
okay. You're in a good place. You've got to give yourself a pass because you're still learning. You seem to be in both wanting to take action and knowing you have to learn. And that's causing some frustration and ultimately could cause you to stop. So let this go. Give yourself permission to learn for 3 or 4 months. Enjoy the process. Today's market is very, very unusual and very, very dangerous. Seattle specifically. It is the most unbalanced market I've ever seen. But that's good for you because you've got permission to learn. So you can learn a market that I have never seen in 20 years. So, you know, once you have that skill, you'll be doing great things next year. But remove the goal of buying something this year. Stop it.
Push that on. Okay.
Stop it. Until you can have a conversation about learning your market and telling Jen what the top 3 deals are of the week or the month, you have no permission to write an offer.
Why are you looking at me?
She's like, I like this guy.
Well, I have this it's not a bad problem to have, but I'm looking at a really hefty tax bill next year, and I'm like, I need a tax shelter now. Now, granted, knowing the accounting rules here, passive income, passive activity, I can't become a real estate professional this year anyway, so I'm not going to get these other benefits. So again, meaning that real estate's not going to provide me with a tax shelter anyway, especially this year. Maybe a few years out, get a brokerage or whatever. But that was it was another motivating factor for me, right? I'm like, I don't want to give it to Uncle Sam.
Yeah, if I can hold 50% back, I get it. I've been there.
Motivated to figure it out. So, so I'm not giving myself that. I'm not being patient with myself or patient with myself.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's all right.
But,
you now have permission.
From someone other than me.
Slow down, honey. She's gonna make you watch this video over and over again.
Exactly.
Go watch the video.
So you're gonna be forced to oh, look what happened. Well, great, Mike. So, I mean, I'm not gonna be so rigid as to say 90 days from now, but
Yeah.
sometime out from now, I mean, counting you part of my, counting you as part of my network. Is that's
Sure.
maybe part of
Yeah, go ahead.
we set up another Zoom call? I'm just trying to, what's the recommended kind of thing?
I'm very open. Reach out to me when you can articulate to Jen what a good deal is, and she goes,
Sure.
"Yeah, you're ready." Then
Anything outside Seattle? No.
No, exactly. No,
Yeah.
got to be in this zip code, this property type. Yeah.
Right. So okay. Well, cool.
All right.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for all your time.
Of course. All right. Both have a great day and a great weekend. All right.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
You got it.
Thanks, Mike.
Uh-huh.